You don't own your Caterpillar excavator. You might have paid the bank $300,000 for 40 tons of steel, but the moment a sensor fails, you realize you're just a tenant on Caterpillar's digital property. This is the reality of the modern construction industry, a walled garden where software is used as a fence to keep owners out and dealer revenue in. While Caterpillar has spent the last decade perfecting this digital lockout, their European rivals like Volvo and Liebherr are taking a different path, one that might eventually cost the American giant its crown. The conflict starts the second a fault code hits your dashboard. On a next-gen Caterpillar machine, a simple error like a high soot level or a faulty urea injector doesn't just trigger a warning, it triggers a countdown. The engine enters a D-rate or limp mode, cutting power to a fraction of its capacity. To a contractor with a deadline, this is a financial heart attack. You have a mechanic on site, a man who has spent 30 years keeping diesel engines running in the harshest conditions on Earth. He knows exactly what the problem is. He has the part in his hand, but he is powerless to fix it. He can replace the physical sensor, but he cannot tell the machine's engine control unit that the repair has been made. To do that, he needs a proprietary software license called Caterpillar Electronic Technician, or CAT-ET. This isn't a design flaw, it is a calculated business strategy. In 2023, Caterpillar's services revenue reached a staggering $22 billion. Their corporate roadmap aims to push that number to $28 billion by 2026. A massive portion of that growth comes from the authorized dealer monopoly. By encrypting the J1939 data links and requiring dealer-level flash files for even basic component resets, Caterpillar has ensured that the only person who can truly fix your machine is a technician with a dealer-issued laptop. When that technician is booked out for 3 days, your $300,000 investment sits idle, costing you $1,500 a day in lost production, plus the wages of an operator who has nothing to dig. This is the hidden cost of the yellow paint. You aren't just buying a machine, you're buying a permanent, mandatory subscription to a dealer's service department. While Caterpillar doubles down on this closed-loop system, the landscape in Europe has shifted dramatically. The European Union's philosophy on right to repair is fundamentally different from the corporate-heavy lobby in the United States. Under EU Regulation 2018858, manufacturers are legally required to provide independent repair shops with standardized, unrestricted access to technical information and diagnostic tools. This began with passenger cars, but the cultural and legal pressure has bled directly into the heavy equipment sector. Because Volvo Construction Equipment and Liebherr are headquartered in this regulatory environment, they have been forced to build machines that respect the owner's right to choose their mechanic. A Volvo EC250E or a Liebherr R924R is not just a piece of iron, it is a statement of serviceability. These companies have realized that in a global market, open architecture is a massive competitive edge. If a fleet manager knows that his own shop can handle 95% of the maintenance without begging a dealer for a software handshake, that machine becomes a true asset. A Caterpillar machine, by contrast, becomes a liability the moment it leaves the warranty period. European manufacturers are winning the long game by being the adults in the room. They are providing the tools, the manuals, and the access because they know that trust is the most valuable currency in the dirt-moving business. They are empowering the independent mechanic, which in turn empowers the small contractor. When a small business owner can't fix his own equipment, he stops being an entrepreneur and starts being a servant to a multi-billion-dollar corporation. This digital gatekeeping has created a bizarre anomaly in the used equipment market. If you go to a major equipment auction today, you will see 20-year-old Caterpillar 320C and 330C models selling for prices that defy standard depreciation. These are analog machines. They have mechanical fuel systems, simple hydraulic pilots, and zero encrypted software. A mechanic in a remote mining camp or a small town can keep a 320C running for 50,000 hours with nothing but a service manual and a set of wrenches. The market is screaming for these machines because they represent true ownership. The high resale value of old iron is a direct indictment of the new iron software policies. Contractors are literally paying a premium to avoid the headaches of modern dealer-locked technology. They are choosing a 20-year-old machine over a brand new one because they value the ability to turn a wrench over the ability to view a telematics dashboard. Caterpillar's defense is always the same. They claim these locks are for safety and environmental compliance. They argue that if an owner can access the software, they might bypass emissions controls or override safety limiters, exposing the company to liability. But we've seen this playbook before, and it didn't work for John Deere. For years, Deere used the same excuses to prevent farmers from fixing their tractors. It led to a massive grassroots movement, 11 class action lawsuits, and a PR disaster that saw American farmers buying cracked firmware from Ukrainian hackers just to keep their harvests on schedule. In January 2023, John Deere was forced to sign a Memorandum of Understanding, granting farmers and independent shops the right to buy the same diagnostic tools the dealers use. Caterpillar is currently the last major holdout in the heavy equipment world, standing on a shrinking island of proprietary control. The stakes are higher than just one company's bottom line. The entire construction industry is facing a catastrophic technician shortage. Estimates suggest the industry is short over 75,000 skilled mechanics. By locking out independent shops, Caterpillar is bottlenecking the entire economy. If only a dealer tech can fix a cat, and there aren't enough dealer techs to go around, the infrastructure of the country slows down. Projects go over budget and over time, not because we lack the steel or the fuel, but because we lack the permission to clear a fault code. It is an artificial scarcity of labor created by a software license. The yellow iron legacy was built on the backs of men who could fix anything with a hammer and a bit of ingenuity. Caterpillar became a global titan because they built the most reliable, most repairable machines in the world. They were the backbone of the interstate highway system and the builders of the modern world. But as they transition from a hardware company to a software and services company, they're alienating the very people who built their brand. The new generation of fleet managers is looking at the downtime data, and they are seeing the hidden cost of the Caterpillar logo. They are seeing that a machine you can't repair is a machine that owns you. Imagine a future where you don't choose an excavator based on its bucket breakout force or its swing torque, but on its software license agreement. That is the world Caterpillar is building, but it is a world that the market is beginning to reject. European manufacturers are proving that you can have high-tech efficiency without the digital handcuffs. They are proving that a machine can be both advanced and accessible. Caterpillar still makes the best engineered machines on the planet. Their metallurgy, their hydraulic precision, and their engine efficiency are second to none. But a perfect machine that sits idle for 3 days waiting for a software patch is inferior to a good machine that is back to work in 3 hours. The market is shifting, the legislation is coming, and the digital iron curtain is about to fall. If Caterpillar wants to remain the king of the job site, they need to remember what made them great in the first place. They didn't just sell machines, they sold the power to build the world. And you can't build the world if you're waiting for a password. You can't build the world if you're a tenant of your own tools. True ownership isn't just about whose name is on the title, it's about whose hand is on the wrench. It's time to unlock the iron.